My entire life is built on calculating risk. I'm an actuary for a major insurance firm. I look at spreadsheets, analyze mortality rates, accident probabilities, and financial ruin. And I tell companies how to protect themselves. My wife, Jessica, always called me the human spreadsheet. She said it affectionately at first, then dismissively, and finally with pure contempt. My name is Arthur. I'm 42. Jessica is 35. We've been married for 7 years. To the outside world, we were comfortable. We lived in a nice suburban colonial, drove mid-range SUVs, and vacationed in Florida. I was the steady provider. Jessica was the creative spirit, an interior designer who spent more money on staging furniture than she actually earned selling designs. I didn't mind supporting her. I loved her. I thought her chaos balanced my order. I thought we were a diversified portfolio. But 3 months ago, the variable changed. My great-uncle Marcus passed away in Switzerland. Marcus was the black sheep of the family who made a fortune in pharmaceuticals and never married. I was his only living relative. The lawyers contacted me on a Monday. The estate was massive. We are talking about liquid assets, patents, and real estate totaling roughly $40 million. I was in shock. I sat in my gray cubicle staring at the email, realizing I never had to work again. My first thought was Jessica. I imagined her face. I imagined buying her the design studio she always wanted. I imagined taking her to Paris, not on a budget, but on a private jet. I left work early to tell her. I bought champagne. I bought flowers. I pulled into the driveway at 2 p.m. Her car was there. But there was another car, too. A flashy red convertible that belonged to Stefan, a local artist Jessica had hired to paint a mural in our dining room. I walked to the front door, key in hand. But I stopped when I heard the voices coming from the open window of the dining room. Part 2. The Bad Investment. It wasn't the sounds of painting. It was the sound of my wife laughing. A giggly, breathless laugh she hadn't used with me in years. "He's so clueless, Stefan," Jessica said. "He checks the credit card statements for Starbucks charges. But he has no idea about the consulting fees I'm paying you." "To be fair," a male voice purred, "I am consulting you. On your anatomy." They laughed again. The sound of glass clinking. "How much longer, babe?" Stefan asked. "I'm tired of sneaking around. When are you going to dump the calculator?" I held my breath, pressing my back against the brick wall of my own house. "Soon," Jessica said. "I'm just waiting for his end-of-year bonus. He's expecting a big payout. Once that hits the joint account, I'll file. I'll take half the bonus, half the house, and half his retirement. Then we can open that gallery in Soho." "You're wicked," Stefan said. "I'm pragmatic," she replied. "Arthur is a safety net. You don't cut the net until you're ready to fly." I stood there for a long time. The champagne bottle was heavy in my hand. My first instinct was to kick down the door and scream, to throw the $40 million inheritance in her face and tell her what she just lost. But then, the actuary kicked in. I took a deep breath. I analyzed the data. She is cheating. She plans to divorce me for financial gain. She does not know about the inheritance yet. Inheritance is generally considered separate property, unless commingled with marital assets. If I told her about the money now, she would stay. She would pretend to love me again. She would wait 6 months or a year, and then divorce me, taking $20 million of my uncle's money. The risk was too high. I needed to eliminate the liability. I walked back to my car. I drove to a dumpster behind a gas station and threw away the flowers and the champagne. Then I called my lawyer. Not the family lawyer we used for closing on the house. A shark from the city. Part 3. The Crash Test. I devised a plan. I called it the stress test. If Jessica wanted a safety net, I was going to show her what happens when the net snaps. I needed to make myself appear financially worthless before the divorce. I spent the next 2 weeks moving my personal savings, the premarital funds, into a protected trust. I spoke to Uncle Marcus's lawyers and told them to delay the transfer of the inheritance for 60 days. I told them to keep everything strictly confidential. Then, I went home on a Friday night, looking disheveled. I loosened my tie, messed up my hair, and poured myself a whiskey. Jessica was on the couch, scrolling through Instagram, ignoring me. "We need to talk," I said, my voice trembling. I practiced this in the mirror. "What is it?" she snapped, not looking up. "Did you forget to pay the cable bill again?" "I lost my job," I said. She dropped her phone. "What?" "They fired the whole department," I lied. "But it's worse, Jess. I made a mistake. I tried to day trade with our savings to make up for the bonus I wasn't going to get. I lost it. I lost almost everything." It was a bold lie. But Jessica never checked the accounts. She just spent from them. "How much?" she screamed, standing up. "The savings account is empty," I said. "And we might be underwater on the mortgage. We have to sell the cars. We have to cut back. We need to live on a strict budget for the next year until I find work." I watched her face. I looked for a flicker of support. "We'll get through this." A hug. Anything. Instead, I saw pure, unadulterated disgust. "You idiot," she hissed. "You useless, boring idiot. You lost the money." "We still have each other," I said, reaching for her hand. She recoiled like I was radioactive. "Don't touch me. I need to go out. I need to think." She grabbed her keys and left. The tracker on her phone showed she went straight to Stefan's apartment. Part 4. The Fire Sale. The next week was brutal, but necessary. I canceled the cable. I returned her leased luxury SUV, paying the penalty fee from my secret stash, but telling her the bank repossessed it. I started cooking rice and beans. Jessica was furious. She refused to eat the food. She screamed at me daily. "I can't live like this, Arthur. I have a reputation." "We have to tighten our belts," I said calmly. "If you could get a job, maybe pick up some extra shifts." "A job?" she shrieked. "I am an artist, Arthur. I don't flip burgers." 3 days later, she slapped a manila envelope on the kitchen table. Divorce papers. "I'm done," she said cold-heartedly. "I spoke to a lawyer. Since there are no savings left, I'm taking the house. You can keep your debt and your 401k, which is probably worthless now, too. I just want out. Jessica, please," I begged, acting. "Don't leave me when I'm down. I can fix this." "You're a sinking ship," she said, "and I'm not drowning with you. Sign the papers, Arthur, or I'll make this so messy you'll wish you were dead." She wanted an uncontested divorce. She wanted it fast. She assumed there was nothing left to steal, so she just wanted to cut her losses and run to Stefan. She rushed the process. She waived her right to full financial discovery because she thought she knew the truth. I was broke. We sat in a mediator's office 10 days later. "You are agreeing to waive all claims to future assets or spousal support?" the mediator asked her. Yes, just give me the house deed and let me leave," Jessica said, tapping her designer nails on the table. I signed. She signed. The judge signed off on it 48 hours later. I was legally a single man, and I was legally broke. For exactly one more day. Part 5. The resurrection. The day the divorce decree became final, I called the Swiss lawyers. "Execute the transfer," I said. $40 million landed in a brand new private offshore account under my name. I didn't keep the house. I let her have it. It was heavily mortgaged anyway. Another detail I forgot to mention to her. I had refinanced it to pay debts during my fake crisis, pulling out the equity and putting it into the trust she couldn't touch. So she got a house with a massive monthly payment and no husband to pay it. I moved into a penthouse in the city. I bought a new wardrobe. I traded my Honda Accord for an Aston Martin. I didn't call her. I didn't text her. I waited. I knew how this would end. 2 months later, the art gallery dream with Stefan fell apart. Because, surprisingly, Stefan was a starving artist who wanted a sugar mama, not a broke divorcee with a mortgage she couldn't afford. Jessica was struggling. She was selling furniture to pay the electric bill. Then the news broke. My uncle's estate was notable enough that a business journal ran a small piece on the inheritance of the Marcus Blackwood estate, and who was listed as the sole beneficiary. Arthur Penhaligon. Me. Part 6. The coffee shop meeting. She caught me leaving my office building. I knew she was stalking me. I had seen her beat-up sedan parked across the street. I looked different. Tailored suit, tan, confident. "Arthur!" she cried out, running across the sidewalk. She looked tired. Her roots were showing. "Jessica," I said coolly, checking my watch. "I'm late for a meeting." "Is it true?" she asked, breathless. "The article? $40 million? After taxes, it's a bit less," I shrugged. "But yes." Her eyes went wide. I saw the gears turning, the calculation. "But you said you were broke. You said you lost his job." "I lied," I said simply. "I wanted to see if you loved me or if you just loved the lifestyle I provided." "I do love you," she shouted, grabbing my arm. "I was just scared. The stress made me crazy. Stefan meant nothing. It was a mistake. We can fix this. We're meant to be together." I gently removed her hand from my sleeve. "I heard you, Jessica," I said softly. "What?" "That day I came home early to surprise you with the news. I was standing outside the dining room window. I heard you tell Stefan that I was just a safety net. I heard you say you were waiting for the bonus to leave me." Her face went pale white. All the blood drained from her cheeks. She realized the trap she had walked into. She realized she was the one who rushed the divorce. She was the one who waived discovery. "You defrauded me," she hissed, her sadness turning to rage. "You hid assets. I'll sue you. I'll get that money." "You can try," I smiled. But the inheritance was separate property, and the divorce was finalized before the transfer occurred. And you signed a waiver, stating you were satisfied with the financial disclosures. My lawyers are very expensive, Jessica. Are yours? Part 7. The final calculation. She tried to sue. Of course she did. She found a lawyer who worked on contingency. They tried to claim fraud on the court. But I had the texts. I had the transcripts of her telling Stefan she just wanted to dump the loser. The judge was not sympathetic to a woman who admitted she planned to leave her husband as soon as he went broke, only to want him back when he got rich. The case was dismissed with prejudice. She was ordered to pay my legal fees. Since she couldn't pay, she had to sell the house. I bought the house at the foreclosure auction, not to live in it. I bulldozed it. I donated the land to the city to build a community park. I named it the Marcus Blackwood Memorial Park. I'm currently dating again. A nice woman named Elena. She's a librarian. She doesn't know about the money yet. I told her I'm a mid-level manager. We split the check at dinner. She drives a Corolla. And she looks at me like I'm the most interesting man in the world. Not because of what I can buy her, but because of who I am. Jessica? She works at a retail store in the mall now. I saw her once, from a distance, while I was Christmas shopping. She was folding sweaters, looking miserable. I didn't stop. I calculated the risk of engaging with her. Result? 100% waste of time. I kept walking.